Hello, my friends over at Face to Face Gaming. This is Travis Semulin Sowers, and we are jumping into a best of three traditional midnight hunt draft on MTG Arena. When I did the last video, I was feeling a little down. I was in a little bit of pain. I guess you could just say I was under the weather. I'm feeling much better now, and I've had a chance to kind of play through this format some and kind of come to grips on what I think is a good strategy for midnight hunt drafting. So I've seen out in the wild, kind of the podcast gods, as I will sometimes describe them, telling people that you need to be various stages of forcing blue-black to just entirely avoiding red. I don't think that that's necessarily the case, although it does seem like blue-black can make a very strong deck out of commons. The thing that I found to be very good in Midnight Hunt so far is following the theory of brave drafting that I outlined in my Joy of Drafting videos a while back. And this was kind of a counter to the idea of bread drafting. A lot of people would tell new players to draft bread, bombs removal, evasion, aggro duds, I think was what the acronym was for. Whereas brave drafting is saying, yeah, still draft your bomb, still draft your removal, but after that you want additional value and then efficiency. And this format is all about that additional value. There's so many cards with flashback, so many cards with, what's the mechanic? Disturb. I keep thinking in bomb, but it's essentially disturb. And people, I think, are scared of red because they see that it doesn't really have the disturb and it doesn't seem to have good flashbacks, but there's a really good red flashback card that draws 2 cards. It's the Tormenting Voice variant. So if we get into red, I'll be excited to show you how that works. Now, this pack as a starter doesn't really have a lot of value here. It has a very good card for blue-black, leveling up your zombies. It also has a really good card for red-white, and I've had some red-white cards that I like. The challenge here, I think, is that I like the rare better than the rest of this. This is a 3/3 haste. It can give other things haste, and if it happens to already be night, it'll really start chonking. So I think the power level of these 3 cards is similar, but I'm going to take this one because it's one color. This doesn't mean that we're red. It just means we have a red card. My thought is that drafts really start on pick 5. Your 5th pick is more important than your 1st pick, because that's really the moment when the whole table is screaming at you what's open, and then you decide whether you're going to ignore it or not. Okay, so this pack has a couple things I'm interested in. Electric Revelation is the card I was talking about. I really think this is one of the better red commons. I also don't think there's any reason you would take it this early, because currently it seems like I'm the only person that thinks that, so these will routinely wheel. We've got the option here to take Sacred Fire, which starts to give you that value if you want to commit to red-white. We've got a Scab Wrangler, which is a very strong card, usually in blue-black, but you can just do it in blue. And there's a Moonrager Slash, which I also think is quite good. I think I'm going to take the Slash and see if we can continue to get past good red and perhaps wheel this. But here's the moment where we kind of have to decide a little closer what we're doing. And this pack basically has, I think, gosh, almost 4 directions you could go. I think I could make an argument for Seize the Storm, Baneblade Scoundrel, Morning Patrol, Evolving Wilds, and Gavany Silversmith. This is quite a strong pack still. The Morning Patrol has really impressed me. Seize the Storm kind of encourages you to start drafting kind of some garbagey cards to have this as a payoff, which is fine. Baneblade Scoundrel is just pretty dang good. I don't really want to force red. Yeah, I don't want to force red, but I still think this is probably more exciting and interesting. So I'm still going to take it here, but if I need to get off of this, I will. All right, here's kind of our next moment. Green-red needs some help in the card advantage department, but I do like the Liberator. I also like Revenge of the Drowned. And the concern here is, like, Revenge of the Drowned goes in the same deck with Seize the Storm. The Liberator really doesn't. But like I said, we're getting close to that 5th pick where I think it's more important that we try to see what's open. And ideally, we'll begin to see that now. And I think to an extent we do. This uncommon is pretty dang good. And like as you compare it to the rest of the pack, there's really nothing on the same power level here. So I think this may be our signal that white is probably open, and we can pair white with probably whatever we'd like and be in a pretty good shape. I'm very curious if those red, white, gold cards will spin. Okay. This is also giving us a pretty clear communication between the two of these that red is probably open. I'm going to take the removal spell, although this card has played very well for me. So I think we're going to get hooked up in red. It's a matter of what we want to pair it with. We've got the Naturalist, potentially, which is pretty good with other werewolves. We've also got this Commando, which would be neat because we have, like, some indication that white was open. But I think if you're seeing kind of the uncommon lord for a tribe, you take this here. Now, a lot of people really don't like werewolves because it's so painful to pass your turn to flip them. So the trick is, make sure it's not painful to pass the turn to flip them. I'm still not 100% sure. This Morning Patrol is really good. This is a way to get some of your card advantage back if green ends up not being open. The difference is I'll play this Dread Knight in almost every red deck. Yeah, I think we just take that for safety. I really need to see what wheels here, because if it's this, I think we're probably actually looking to try to get into red-white. Which means I kind of wish I had the Morning Patrol. Yeah, okay. We found our lane. Okay, cool. This table does not know how good that is. That is really good for me. Now, it could still be green. Like, let's say we open the Grave Titan Werewolf. Sure, I'll play green. You got me. But as it's standing, we've identified that this table does not want to draft red-white. And that's fine. I like red-white. The way I've been playing it isn't as a pure turbo aggro deck. It's as a value deck. Trying to have like as much disturb from white as I can get and as much flashback from red as I can get. It is worth noting that we didn't spin the Electric Revelation. That just means there's somebody else drafting red that's aware what a good card that is. There's another way you can build red-white, which is getting like a bunch of those 1/3s and playing Homestead Courage on it. And I don't like that. I think it's bad, but play what makes you happy. Now, this pack has a couple cards we're interested in, from Candle Trap, which is a good way to make sure you don't die to something big. It has a 2-drop. You can play the Elementalist. The Ambusher would be all right here, too. But I really think we're at the red-white stage. And while we'd love to have opened a rare or uncommon that would be really good for this deck, we're relatively happy just taking the Candle Trap here. It is worth noting that red-white has a much harder time turning on Coven than green does. Huh. What are you doing here? It is so easy to get 2-for-1s with Clear Shot. Poggers. I like the Silversmith. I like the Foragers. I don't like Sunset Revelry. Like, are we that committed to white? What am I getting out of white? Yeah, I think we're that committed to white. Could we be green-white? I don't know. It's early enough in the draft. I'm going to speculate here. If they pass me another good green card, I could move right back in. Although I found Odric's Outrider to be really freaking good. So, okay. Am I about to give up red? Are we splashing a Clear Shot? What's happening? Do you need 2-drops? What are frogs? Okay, I like the Spell Rune one. People were saying in the set review that Mask of Gristlebrand was absurd and Beware. I hadn't actually played against it, but I didn't think it was that amazing. I think I might just take a relatively unexciting Witch, because I do need to get some 2-drops going. Yeah, I think this is a bit of an adult pick, because I would like a lot of these other cards, but I need 2-drops, and I think I'm supposed to be red-white. Both of these cards went around the table. Oh, God, there's a Shadow Piece sighting. But I think it's time we grow up and accept that, again, If literally the entire table does not want the Sunrise Cavalier or the Sacred Flame, this is our color pair. We're going to need 2 drops. Let's pick them up. These are good ones. I can grab a Silversmith now and be pretty happy. This card is a little bit of a sleeper in that it's obviously pretty bad. But if you bump into somebody that doesn't have a lot of interaction and going wide will give you a chance against them, throw it in. I don't mind having one in the sideboard is all I'm trying to say. Immolation is a nice early shock if you need one. And we're seeing some good green here. I think it's entirely possible we could have gotten into red-green. Because it feels like our colors are getting cut here, which may mean that somebody I passed to has like gotten excited about trying to get into this, but this card's also very strong, although not for us. I don't think I would play any of this, but I'm going to take a Vandal. I'm a little nervous in that I don't have a single copy of Electric Revelation. If people have figured out that that card is good, I'm in a little bit of danger. I think we just take another 2-drop and make sure those are sorted. Okay. We've kind of got the 2-drop situation sorted. That's good. That's real good. I need some value from somewhere, and I do not currently have it. This thing's okay, but like I am not hurting for 2 drops and would like to play 5 more morning patrols. Okay, there we go. Wow, that is a late Shadow Beast sighting. All right, there's some value because that can go face, and a dead opponent is value. So I certainly don't mind having a Fireball. This pleases the Travis. But most of what I'm looking for now, if we can find it, is a pack entirely full of black cards. That would make me happy. I think we could be pretty happy with one Search Party Captain, but we're kind of getting to the upper limit of creatures, right? Like we have a little bit more room for them, but not much. And I really want 2 more Disturbed creatures and at least 1 Electric Revelation. Because our card quality is not bad. We've got cards that can win the game. We've also got solid removal with the Slash, the Candle Trap. These things are okay. Light Up the Night is quite good. What I don't have is a way to keep up with the intense card advantage that we're going to bump into in literally all of the other decks. So this is going to look a little bizarre, but I'm taking the Electric Revelation here. I really think we're going to need it. I also think that because I spun that first Sacred Fire, there's a not unreasonable chance that I'll spin this one, but I know that this is a card I want in this deck. Frankly, I want 2 of these, and I would love more Morning Patrols to discard to them. But this is how I'm planning to flip a few of the werewolves that we have. Not that it's like necessary to flip these 2. But I've also found that like this format really doesn't have much to do past your 5th mana, aside from flash a few things back, so it's fine to like discard lands to this. All right, this is a solid size board card. This is another pretty good 3-drop werewolf that plays nicely with the instance. I think we go for that. I've been playing a lot of 3s, but like I'd probably cut some of them for another Morning Patrol. All right, here's another Moonrager Slash. If I take this one and we see one of those 2-1s that gets spells back, we could try to get our value from there. There's also a Flame Channeler, which is really more of a lame channeler. Because we're getting close to the end of this, and I haven't quite found the value I'm looking for. There's another Morning Patrol. I want this. If this is the deck, I can probably make it work. Okay, I can work with this. I can work with this. Are you better than anything that I have currently in these spots? Because I don't think I'd want to replace anything for another Infiltrator. I suppose there's a world where I want to go a little more aggressive. It would kind of surprise me. None of these cards do anything. I could see bringing this in some matchups. I'm really glad I took that 1 Electric Revelation when we did. There might be a world where I decide I want another Dread Guard. I could sort of see that. Okay. But no, this deck's curve stops at 5. There's nothing to do with the extra mana, right? So that's why I like the Electric Revelation so much. But this deck does not have enough card advantage just yet. So I may need to do 16 lands or look somewhere else. We also didn't spend the other Sacred Fire. Because, like, maybe this is greedy, and maybe it's just because, like, there were people that didn't have the format figured out earlier. I'm just going to go for a mix of the drops here. It's probably a grown-up thing with this deck to do something like this. And just kind of overload here. I guess this is probably our worst 3-drop. But what I was saying was I really like getting decks that have something like 8 to 10 flashback / disturb cards if I can get them. And that may just be something that was really only possible at the beginning of the format when not a lot of people really understood how it worked, right? Because here we've got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I've got 4. I've got about half of what I want. Because I really want another one of these, which is kind of funny, and by one of these I mean Revelations, that I told you guys, don't worry, you can wield them, and then we didn't. We totally didn't. The green-red deck might have been better. I may have gotten a little stuck on the uncommons for red-white wheeling. And again, you can build a much more aggressive red-white deck than what I've put together here. And it's not bad either. Like, feel free to play how you want. I like the value ones, and this is kind of a weak example of that. I could probably splash a clear shot. I don't know that I want to. We can get some value off of the Dawn Guard, too. Like, it's not like there's no value here. I'm wondering if the deck wants an extra planes because of the Dawn Guard. It is mostly red. But I think this looks pretty reasonable. I think we can play with this and kind of see where we go. This looks like the red-white mascot to me. Yeah, let's take this one out. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got here. Alrighty, here we go. Does have potential. I think it's insane to think that we could get value off of the Dawn Guard, for example. And the instance will allow us to kind of play a little bit with when we go from day to night. So I think I'm going to lead with the Dawn Guard. Because if they cast something that I particularly care about, I can wait and then cast the Moonrager's Slash on their turn and get the flip. And this just lets us draw cards, which is great as far as I'm concerned. See what I mean about value? It's everywhere in this set. So if I Stormseeker and play something else this turn, we're going to draw more cards. But I don't think I actually want to play anything else. So let's just beat for 8 on turn 5. Seems fine, right? Okay. So if I Candle Trap that, it's not going to hurt me. We can just attack straight through it and not care. And that does let me get 2 spells this turn, which I think I dig. So let's Candle Trap you. Let's play the Cavalier. Let's give you the haste. Let's beat. And then we've got him dead with just 2 of these. Oh, come on. I want to draw the search party captain. Okay, maybe there's a little more value in this deck than I gave it credit for. This thing's pretty good. If I put the immolation on it, they have to block it. I mean, they have to block it anyway. It just doesn't actually kill the Dread Knight. But I think I'm pretty comfortable here and just Sacred Firing them end of turn. Actually, I guess there's no reason not to play this out, too. They're going to have to get a pretty good clue to get me with that. I mean, the upside of doing this end of turn is if we rip a land, they're just dead. The upside of playing these out is if they don't rip a blocker, they're just dead. So I dig that. That's not going to do it. It's not going to do it at all. Burn in the sacred fire. Sick burn. All right, so I don't really know what they're doing here just yet. It looks like red-black solid removal. The thing is, all of these creatures have so many abilities stapled onto them these days that one-for-one removal ain't as good as it used to be. You still need some of it, but like one-for-one removing a 2/3 that's going to come back, or like sure, maybe you can remove this, but if I've gotten value off of it already, it's not good enough. I don't know. I think that's probably gone through, but Limited has changed in that way. Didn't really see any indication that Immolate's going to be great, but I don't think I really want to fiddle with this much. We could consider bringing in a Ruffian if we want to consider blocking a little more. Like, that could arguably be better than the Mounted Dread Knight, but I think this is fine. I still wish I had one more Electric Revelation, but I've probably mentioned 500 times how much I like that card, so I doubt it's a big surprise to anybody that I would like more of them. This is not good enough, is it? Yeah, it needs specifically red. It's got the Electric Revelation, which I dig, but I can't keep that, sadly. This one I can. I think I got to send the Dread Knight back. Because I can sort of envision, like, 2, 3, 4 sort of doing something. And you could say it undoes the mulligan, but is a 4-mana, I guess in this case a 3-mana 2/2 really a card? Maybe? Maybe not. Yeah, I guess I'll flash this in. I could use this to try to flip werewolves and stuff, but I was thinking there's some argument for playing that one because I might end up wanting to trade it, but So the question here is, do I play this or the search party captain? And I think I'd rather get the Dawn Guard going. I should be able to find an attack next turn with and get this going if I want it. That guy's pretty good, eh? Well, he's pretty good if you ain't getting beat down. Like, that's a lot of damage, and we've got a lot of burn here, so there's some potential here. Did you take all my electric revelations? They're not as good in your deck as they would be in my deck. Way better in my deck. Now I don't have to worry about that thing anymore, which is nice. And I can cast 2 spells next turn and just keep drawing cards with it, which is also nice. Oh, they got the Wombu Kombu! Wombu Kombu! I thought I was going to get to draw cards with it, and then I didn't. I don't much care for that. I should be able to manipulate Coven to at least give this flying next turn. Right, because I could put a counter here. And a counter there. Yeah, I could go here and here. And then I'd have 2, 3, 4. So that'll give us like 3 power in the air to start chonking. Dang it, Bobby, I was using that one. So they can pump this once. So if I put the counter here, I could force them to trade that for it, but that's not actually that good. Let's just draw our card. Here's where I feel like I need a little bit more value. See how good this is for them? They've drawn 4 cards off of that at the cost of discarding 2 lands they didn't need. It's so good. So we've got 1 Moonrager Slash still in here. That would be handy. So the plan is to hold up mana to give this 5 power of first strike, huh? No. That is not their plan. Their plan is to continue to cast creatures and bury me. I mean, to be fair, it seems like a good plan. If this is a 3 power, it's at least got an attack. Which is something. If their life total's low enough, I can top deck a removal spell, or a removal spell. We've got a fireball. So getting their life total down to a top deck fireball being lethal would be nice. Right now we've got 7. So connecting for 3 would be really good. Them gaining lifelink would be really bad. I would say incredibly bad. Like kind of catastrophe bad. Do any of you stop this? Not really. That hastiness may be my only option, because that mask is probably going to knock me out. So that's 7. I'll take it. Our hope here is they just don't have a blocker and they've got garbage in hand, and I can find 15 points of damage out of literally nowhere. I don't know that that's likely to happen. What's this do again? When it dies, you can do something. Yeah, this is not good enough by any stretch. Wait a minute. No, I'm a mana short of doing that too. Even then it would be 9, 10, 11, 12. We're a mana short. I do need 2 blockers. Who do I want to block with? Well, I need 1. Yeah, I need 2 blockers. And it needs to be a 3/3. And I guess we're going to have to throw away this dude. I still think we're quite dead. I'm trying to put him in a scenario where I could swing team next turn and still top deck the fireball. Because I don't think I saw it in the bottom, right? Oh, no, I did. Never mind. You guys are probably screaming at the screen like, you already drew it, you idiot! Sorry. So we're not going to get to the light up the night. That is unfortunate. I'm playing to top deck a card I know I can't top deck. Opinions on the mask have varied wildly. It seems pretty good here. The lifelink being just good enough to race me. Does planes do anything? I think not. Therefore, I am not. Poof. All right, have we got anything that would interact with that? Because I kind of don't think we do. We can save this. This is not a disposable 2-drop right now. It is a valuable artifact removal card that we would like to keep. I think short of that, that's about all we got going. Now, we've played enough that we can start looking for, like, did they have flashback? And they really don't. The main flashback card they have is the Electric Revelation, which is a decent amount of value. I don't know that that means I want to, like, put in a jack-o'-lantern to cycle. If I did, it'd probably be over a land. Because we got flooded out there pretty hard. But we were also had the opportunity to draw cards with this dude. There's just not that much for it to draw, right? Let's take it back. I think we can do this. I think even though this deck isn't ideal, we've got a 3-0 candidate on our hands. Let's find out, shall we? Bolus versus Fibblethip. A true clash of the Titans. Whew, lordy. Oh, man. I can't keep that on the play. I might try it on the draw, but this deck is not going to function if I keep that. Okay, so this hand has a couple of 2-drops that are relatively interchangeable, and it does have a way to get some card advantage back. So I think our option here is to send back the Lambholt Harrier. keep the aggressive styled hand that also has a defensive card if they happen to come out more aggressive than me. Like, if they want to attack with that, that's fine. We can, and these can just stare at each other. That's also fine. And if they're going to do something like that, well, Candle Trap has some thoughts. Look at this hand developing nicely. I had a deck with 5 Morning Patrols in it, and I liked it. Which was good. Pretty happy to toss the land here to draw some cards. Nice. Happy to toss it and draw some more. I don't want to trade this for the zombie, but I don't mind trading either of the other two. And this also lets us fiddle with power and toughness enough that if I draw another creature, I can probably exile the demon instead of giving them just champion blocker. Candle Trap is not at its best in red-white. It's playable. It's very good in green-white, or if you're playing some of the tappers. Because I found red-white struggles a bit to get Coven going, whereas green-white just kind of doesn't. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't block with that Awoken Demon, but I suppose I don't need to. Sometimes you just gotta grab a leg. I might be a Falcon Wrath Aristocrat, which means I would need to go to the air. They showed us one in game 1. Okay, I suppose it might not be. Mask of Gristledad. All right, all right, all right. Okay, now they have the Aristocrat. They did have it last turn. Man, they played that like a champ. Because there's nothing I can do about it now. Or I said Aristocrat. You know what I meant. This dude. There's nothing for it. Especially when it's getting the mask. Oh god, we could do that to kill it. And that means they can just draw 6 cards? Does that seem fair? Does that seem like something we're likely to be able to beat? I think the mask is sort of, at least in my mind, playing out. I can also jam both of these in front of it and Sacred Fire it, which I might. But it's reminding me some of the Hand of Vagna. Oh, I can't do that because it has flying. Nice. Nice. And that in the right board state, the hand was absurd. But this is just better. It's literally just better. I have to kill that Dread Knight and just let them draw 6 bloody cards. Okay. Take the mask. Play the mask. It's incredible. I guess maybe their life total's low enough that they're going to be scared to draw the 6 cards. I don't think they should be. Because, like, they're up to 9 cards in hand. I suspect they'll get me. Now, the good news is this flipping can let us draw the 3-1, which can answer that. So we could kill the mask. Then we just have to deal with the other 6 cards they just drew. Yeah, I have to top deck a removal spell for this immediately, or we're dead. That isn't one. We're dead. Because yeah, this is just game over, dude. What are the chances they'd block with it? I'd say basically nothing. Because there's no reason for them to block with it. All right, there is still a fireball in the deck. God, they can gain so much life. I had reports initially of people saying this wasn't very good, then people played with it, said it was great, then people played with it and said it was bad. This has been miserable. This has been an incredibly miserable play pattern. I do not like what's happening here. This is not fun. It's like, I drew this card you can't beat. So they can't activate that. We've drawn a search party captain, which is incredibly useful. Not really. Okay, so we're mostly dead. That's cool. They can't activate this right now. I think I can still kind of play towards the fireball, but not really and not for very long. Still good value on the morning patrol. It'd be really nice if they didn't play anything, but I guess that's the other thing is like they're going to be double spelling for a while now. All right, so they could make this 8, which would suck, but mean I'm not dead. And I could still draw the fireball and potentially get them here. Well, I say that. Maybe my answer is actually to mill them out. It's not a fireball. Okay, so they're going to be gaining at least 4 life next turn, which is super fun. Or they're not. All right, I have an idea. The fireball is exactly lethal. Oh, that was a nice top tag. I was going to say what we would do is block with the apparition, kill it, and then try to top deck the fireball. I do think I still have to block it, but at least the Gristlebrand thing can be gone. Do I have to block it? How big could they get it? Big enough that I'm scared of it. Still kind of playing in such a fashion that I have to draw the fireball to get them. Oh, that's why they were GGing me. Okay. I thought we were playing Magic. But we were not. Sad. Alright, so it turns out cards that can allow you to draw 6 cards in Limited are pretty good. Not really sure why I didn't think of that. But it would appear that the Mask of Gristlebrand actually has a place. Perhaps the hype is real? I'd say if we can scrape together a 2-1 for this one. I would like that, since I think the last video I did for Foss was not a winner. Oh, it's going to be rough like this, y'all. You may have to come by the stream if you want to see me win some games, because this is a little scary. I actually need to look at the odds. So give me just a second. I'm going to check my Twitch chat odds. I'm pretty sure this is keepable. So we're going to do odds. 33 cards in deck, 8 successes, 2 draws, need 1 of them. We're 40% to hit, and I can also draw red 2 drops. This is a keep, but it's a bloody terrifying keep. Because and here's the thing. We lose the game if we don't draw the white source. But we're kind of likely to draw the white source. There's an argument that in a format like this with as much card advantage as you have, that it's better to mulligan than not. And I can see that argument. Because it's like we could recover some of that card advantage given the fullness of time. I didn't know there was maintenance today. Hopefully we can at least finish this game. Okay. They appear to want to race, but I have higher powered creatures. Okay, there you go. This is the Homestead Courage variant of red-white that I have warned you about. It can be quite good. So now the question and answer is, do they have the lightning bolt? Because if they have the lightning bolt, they got me. If they don't, we got them. It's not a lightning bolt. Okie dokie. Neat. So I don't like the Champion of Alms. I don't like any of the 1-mana 1/1s in this set because they require augmentation to be good. In this case, they've actually are able to like get decent blocks with it against me, but that's because I'm playing 2/1s. I don't really want to be playing the 2/1s, but I kind of have to. Now, were they playing enough X1s that I would want something like Neonate's Rush? Not really. And I'm not going to consistently draw off of that. I feel like they're trying to be a lot more aggressive than me, and I should probably try to bring in another blocker early and just take out literally any 3 and put in another 2-drop. So I think I'm going to do that, even if I'm a little insecure about it. Meh. 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 All right, fine. We'll see you later, buddy. Adios. I ain't got room for you. That's a much better hand than what we had before. So let's watch this one just get annihilated, eh? Play an X1. I dare you. No, don't kill my guy. That's not what we want. There you go. Yeah, fine. I kind of have to kill it. The question is, do we want to go absolutely insane? Because I could go insane and chonk for 5 here. But I don't think I need to go absolutely insane. It's interesting. Didn't really expect him to go that route. Burning down the house is pretty good. Not just the song, the card. I say attacking there is a bold move, Cotton. Don't think I'm quite ready to swing into that, but I very well might be next turn, depending on what they play. Probably not if they have the Griff. I guess if I draw a removal spell, we got them, because they're functionally at 4, right? You're not really helping now, are you? No. So we could get this out of the way. Huh. That is technically lethal if they don't have something in hand. Right, because they could block 2 things and then take 4. All right, show me what you got. Because I think you got to land. I was right. Schwaziland. All right, one more for a significant portion of marbles. I don't know about all of them since we're 1-1, but 2-1 is certainly better than 1-2. Wouldn't mind a 2-drop, but I can work with this. I mean, our 1-5 drop is a lot like a 2-drop, I would say, you know, if you think about it. There is a counterspell called Flip the Switch for 3. And if they're going to counter something, I don't want them to get value on it. So I'm going to play the Morning Patrol here. Whereas now I'm kind of down to play the Hasty Dude and give them something to think about. Actually, there's a chance I want to kill that. Yeah, I think I want to kill that. Yes, confirm 0. This is so good in blue-red spells because they're going to be casting a lot of spells, and it also triggers a lot of the spectacle mechanics for the red vampire cards. So I think the opportunity to double spell there is just kind of too big. Okay, you did it. That is a spell I typically do not like, but they managed to make it work. We functionally had that as a common in the last set. There's a chance they trade this for the Perforator, and I'd like them to. I don't think they have a 1-mana shenanigan. Because if they trade this one off for a 3-2, I can get the next one with the Candle Trap. Have to trade a little bit here, don't they? Yeah. I think I like where this is going. Yeah, I would say I like where this is going. It's funny, there was a spot where I was worried that they had like a consider or an otherworldly gaze, but then they didn't, so we were fine. Jack-o'-lantern can be okay, just as a little bit of graveyard hate against this deck. And we are going on the draw, so I think I'm willing to try to cheat on the land count a little bit. I think a lot of people would have just built this as a 16 land deck anyway. I didn't want to, and I still don't want to, but I can work with this. What does that do? Put counters on it, deal damage, draw cards. Looks pretty good. Oh, Captain, my Captain. Look at you. Getting some value. That's impressive. I'm impressed. Had to give me a little bit of value too. And now we're going to kill the dang thing. I presume I want to kill the dang thing. Yeah, I want to kill it. This thing is large and in charge, and is something I'm worried about. I may very well have to light up the night on it. But I'm also kind of not opposed to that. Can I cast both of these? I cannot, but I can light for 5. Yeah, let's just kill it. If they can stop this, I suppose I could 3-for-1 myself to get rid of it. I have had some good Seize the Storm decks. Why you gotta be killing my dude? What did he do to you? Not the best value ever. but we're still in it. Format's pretty fun outside of some of the busted rares. I did not super care for the format, but after playing it more and kind of getting a handle on it, like, any format can be fun if you understand the fundamentals and what sort of decks can win in the format. No format is fun if you're just getting your head kicked in over and over, you know? So I can no longer try to interact with that. I have to try to burn them out. I've got 5 points of burn in hand, so we need to find another 6. And I don't think I have a choice. This is the last turn I can attack on the ground. Because answering this is no longer an option, right? Like, I can kill it, but they're just going to cast another one. So what I'm going to need is for them to attack in, let me chump block with the Morning Patrol, recast it as a flyer, and connect with that twice, and that gives me a shot at winning the game. We've also got one more slash we could get. I'm doing this to trigger the flip so we can maybe draw some more action here, because I really think that's our option to get them. I guess I didn't have to, because they're going to block. They have to block this now, so I can at least get the flyer. I wonder what they're holding up. Hasty Dude seems all right. Not great, but it could start it could potentially put counters on the flyer if they can't deal with that. It's something. And it does kind of lock them into, hey, you need to play another ground blocker. Well, that is a lot less than ideal. The swing team here, what happens? They eat this, trade for this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to swing team. Because this thing's dead anyway. This at least forces them to trade off the dragon for the non-flyer. But like, we lose a lot of stuff here. Bounce spell, counter spell. Yeah, bounce spell is going to get us. But to be fair, I think a bounce spell was going to wreck me anyway. Whew, lordy. I do not love our chances. We've got, I think we had 3 Moon Rages. So there's 1 in the deck. And it's not on the bottom 3. So that means we're in a 1 in 15 shot to just top deck a win. I suppose we could also get our own Electric Revelation into that. But I'm going to need it pretty fast, because they're about to start chonking for... Yeah, I think I need to top deck it right now. Interesting that they're scared of another haste creature, because by playing around it, I think they've given me another turn. Which is good, because I top deck the planes. Because I can soak 2 damage here. Okay, okay, you got me. That was a good one. God, the two Seize the Storms are gonna be rough. Gonna be real rough. All right, on the play, I think our plan is still to try to be somewhat aggressive. And I think I might want a Brimstone Vandal. I think the Menace will be relevant. I'll restart it after this game, Bubs. We're going on the play, so something like the Jack-o'-lantern is less appealing, and I think I'm going to try to cheese it with the 16 lands. This is a little greedy. Especially on the play. It's a pretty good opener. Because I do think, like, even though we drafted this as somewhat of a mid-range deck, I think we have to play it as an aggro deck against this opponent. Well, I guess we didn't draft it as a mid-range deck. You kind of can't draft mid-range decks in this format. Everything's at least a little aggressive. I think I'm going to flip and then Electric Revelation. I don't think the Alchemist is actually going to kill me, but getting this guy buffed up is pretty good. They also brought in some X1 hate, so getting that out of their repertoire is good for us. What do I not want? Probably the Witch. You. Go, go. All right, fine. He's not going anywhere. My countersense is tingling, but not much I can do about it. I suppose I could play a worse creature on purpose, but... do I want to draw that? Yeah, I'm fine drawing that. It's going to be weird not to get value off of this counter, but... kind of is what it is. I just want to prevent a little bit of damage because they're kind of starting to get me there. This will mean that if they need to kill this, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because I'm kind of looking at it as an enchantment for us right now. And I think we actually get to attack with it this time, which is nice. The amount of burn I have makes me want to just kind of chill on trying to remove stuff. Because, like, we've got, what, currently 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points of burn. And if we happen to draw more lands, it gets even more. They definitely have their value engine going, though, don't they? I feel like when I get to the point that I kill this, I may have lost the game already, but... I'm certainly not competing with it currently. It's got to go. Now they can use this to do 3 damage, right? Or potentially draw cards. Okay. So the next thing I play probably dies, and I don't mind the Morning Patrol dying. Oh, Lord. But this is not going to end well for us. They've got a good version of the stack. I do not care for it. Not at all. I kind of want to get it flipped back. I honestly think my only option to get them is to go face. Because this at least starts to get me counters. Not nearly enough. My brain is kind of resigned because I think we might be in garbage time here. But there's a possibility we're not. Those Locked in the Cemeteries were so good for them. Kind of surprised. Assassinate's not usually that good. All right, so I've got 3 plus 4 is 7. If I draw another slash, we could potentially do this. Although, I don't think that's going to work. I've literally killed people with that line. All right, well, what we have learned in the drafts I have posted for Fossa Foss is that I can definitely teach you how to go 1-2. It's unfortunate that these have worked out this way. Even if you understand a format, you're very good at it, and you play perfectly, none of which are 100% true for this draft, you're still going to lose some. Like, that's a part of Magic. Variance is kind of baked into our game. But I do generally think if you'll follow the principles that I outlined here, those principles of really looking for that additional value once you've gone through the bombs, that you can have a lot of fun here. There's some synergistic decks that are fun, like the one we just played against. And I think red-white value is actually a good deck and an interesting one to build as opposed to the more traditional kind of red-white aggro, which is also very good here. So the fact that, like, there's more than 10 archetypes from what I can tell drafting a couple weeks in, means that this is a format that has some legs. It's different because everything's so cheap, and that can make it very snowbally and at times a little less fun to play. But I think it's a good format, and I think there's some things we can enjoy here. Thank you very much for watching. I will look forward to seeing you next week right here on Face to Face Games, and do stop by and buy some stuff from Face to Face Games. All right, y'all have a good one. We'll see you next time.